the truth.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the NOLIMIT podcast. We have a very, very special episode today. We are here with Edward Excel. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. So, guys, we are currently in the Life is Bullish podcast studio. I want to first thank you so much for letting us use this. I really was looking forward to getting an interview. You know what I'm saying? He did interview me for his podcast. It's probably going to be out before this one is. So if you've not gone to see that, definitely go to Life is Bullish podcast, watch it, subscribe. He has a bunch of very good guests on that. So make sure you guys head over there, follow that podcast as well. But dude, you've been doing a lot of great things in the industry and you've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool. I've followed you for a while, from ForexXL to even your personal page to now the Life is Bullish podcast. You seem like a busy guy. How is it just managing so many things? And I want to go over how you kind of got to this spot.
It's been a crazy journey for sure. But first of all, thank you for all the introduction that you did about me. And it's really a pleasure to connect here in Canary Islands. And also thank you for coming. It's been crazy, a crazy journey. And especially in the beginning, it was just me on my own, managing my page, trading on my own. But I would say that the growth that I've experienced in the last couple of years is definitely thanks to my team and the people working with me. I believe that 100%. If you want to compound your growth, you need to actually have a good team that will help you actually take care of certain things.
Okay. No, that's really good advice. I feel like it is. And you have an amazing team here, people from behind the scenes helping us to, even I want to say thank you for even helping me with the accommodations, booking my stuff. It was just really easy and a really good process. So once again, appreciate you for having me out, guys. We're in the Canary Islands right now. I'm in Spain. It's amazing. I love getting to travel around, meet amazing traders like yourself, interview them, and kind of go through how they got to where they are. So first, let's just kind of take it back to I'm aware you started trading at 16, correct?
Yeah.
How was that, and how did you kind of get introduced to trading?
So I believe that I started like a lot of other people actually start. You just Google online how to make money online. I just wanted to make some money, and the easiest way to generate it while being in school was actually to do it online. So I looked up that, and of course some results came up: e-commerce, drop shipping. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because a lot of people start that way. And I saw trading. Trading actually needed less capital compared to others that I've seen. So I actually got interested in that. But the first couple of years, the first 3 years, I didn't take it as seriously as I should have. So it was kind of a long process for me to actually get to a profitable point. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's how I started. And then at a certain point, I just realized that it was really... that there was really a possibility to compound this skill if I actually learned how to trade and how to possibly make a certain amount, a certain percentage per month. Mm-hmm. So I got to a point where I was around 18, where I started taking it a bit more seriously. Before that, I was just going back and forth between Forex, stocks, and other things. And at a certain point, I had $2,000 to my name, and I just decided to invest half of it into courses and mentorships. I did that, and that was actually one of the first turning point. I wasn't profitable after 1 month. I wasn't profitable after 6 months, but I was actually seeing the growth. And for all the people watching, I believe that it's not about how much money I'm making right now, but it's about, am I going towards the right direction? Am I actually getting better?
Yes.
So if you are getting better, you are on the right path. Of course, it can take time. Some people might take a few months. Some people might take a few weeks. Some people might take a few years.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started. That's how I started to take it more seriously. And at a certain point, I just started seeing the first money come in. Not a lot, a few hundreds per month. But I realized that with the same skill, I could scale up, because if I would be able to make 5% in a month on a certain amount, I can make the same amount of money on a bigger account. It just comes down to my psychological level of being able to manage that amount of money, that bigger capital. Yeah. So that's another thing that I needed to work on, but that's another story. Yeah.
No, that's great advice. I really, at a young age, like you said, he was 18 and kind of had that shift. Some people who are even way older that are traders are having that problem. And I really like that you just said that, guys. Basically, I'm going to reiterate what he just said, that I think that I got out of that was invest in, don't worry about the money you're making, worry about the skill set, because then the money will come eventually. Right. So that's really good advice, because you start at 16, 18, you kind of start taking it seriously. Yep. trying to gain the skill set. And one of the other things you just brought up was how, you know, you had $2,000, you invested about $1,000 into courses and stuff. And that's actually a question I like to ask a lot of my guests, is because a lot of people out there always ask me, like, if you had $1,000 to your name, what would you do? What would you invest it to? So you kind of just answered that, but maybe, you know, re-answer it in you know, different words. Like, if you had $1,000, would you still do the course route? Like, what would you kind of do?
If I had $1,000 to my name, I will for sure just invest it into myself, both books and courses. I believe that courses can actually give you a skill. Books, I believe that are good more for the psychological part. Of course, even courses are good for the psychological part, but you can combine both. Now, I will not recommend anyone with $1,000 to actually go and think about stocks, think about crypto. Well, maybe cryptos, you can make some if you guess the right one. Yeah. But that's not my recommendation. I will just go and invest in myself and build a skill with which I can make a lot of money and then worry about investments and building wealth.
Yeah, no. That's great advice. Could you maybe talk about the course you got, or who were some of the figures when you were coming up? Because so we're in Europe right now. We are in Spain, but he is from Italy. Yep. We're going to kind of go over how you get over here, but, like, you know, I'm curious, you know, in Europe and Italy, how you kind of came across and who those figures were. For
sure. So I was just looking up on Instagram. I don't specifically remember the name, and I didn't get one course. I got like 3 or 4 courses. It was not like one course for 1,000. It was like 3 or 4 courses for 200, 150, and these type of prices. So just finding on social media. And I was like, this guy seems like he knows what he's doing. With one of them, I got scammed. It wasn't really a good course, but with the majority, it was good. So we cannot generalize in general that courses maybe are just general stuff, because there are some people that really go into depth and really actually teach you how they trade. And I was lucky enough to find some of these people. Now, what I did is just take the informations that I got from there and try to replicate it and try to see what was working for me. I never, when I was trying to just replicate it the same exact way, it never worked for me. But when I took the informations, because I was realizing, I was actually seeing that it was good information, I just wasn't making it work. I needed to adapt it to my trading style and to how I wanted to trade in order to make the strategy work. So all the concepts that I learned were good for my strategy, but I needed to adapt it a little bit with time.
Okay. And then how has your strategy kind of adapted since? Like, when did you kind of like stop doing the coursework and kind of being like, all right, I got the basics, I just need to put in the work and kind of figure it out? Like, when was that?
I always invested into myself. Well, lately in the last years, I didn't get any other course, but it's not like after that I stopped studying. I kept investing into myself. When I was making the first money with trading, which was my profitability point, I was still reinvesting some money to learn some new stuff about trading. I was still looking at YouTube videos, and that was actually the thing that allowed me to scale up with trading more, because one thing that is really important, I believe, also for the people watching, is not to just take the information and go crazy and think that you need to switch your strategy every single time when you see someone making money. Like, I don't know, I see Alex G making 1 million in 3 months, or flipping an account, and then I will use this strategy. That's not my approach. That was not my approach. It was more of, okay, I'm trading this way. Can I find some concepts that I can put together that are gonna work fine with my strategy? I'm not gonna change strategy because mine is working, but can I implement something extra that is gonna refine it and is gonna allow me to maybe have a higher accuracy or hit a bigger restored ratio, or just certain concepts like this. So I kept investing into myself, and then when I was around 20, 21, I figured out how I wanted to trade, definitely, like without switching. But even with time, like in the last year, I really mastered the fake change of character. I trade with some smart money concepts plus some other of my own concepts, like the fake change of character. And I was just wondering, when I see the chart creating a confirmation, which for me, confirmation is the change of character, a lot of times is not respected. So I want to understand why sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So even in the last year, I didn't invest into a course or anything, but I was always on charts to refine certain aspects of the strategy.
Yeah. And I kind of like how you kind of brought that up, because you noticed that in the markets, all those fake change of characters and why some of them would work out and some of them wouldn't. So it comes down to sample sizing, really like going in and doing the data,
Right.
and really just going in and like seeing what's working, what's not, why did this play out and why didn't this, and then I'm guessing it just took you a while of just trial and error to really figure out. That sauce, the fake change of character. I follow all your Instagrams and I always see it, and I'm always curious to like see that and like scroll in, because it's, all the screenshots are from live markets, you know what I'm saying? So like even where I'm at, I love like learning, like you said, and just getting to go in. But kind of just going forward, like, we're in 2023. You started in 2016, or when you were 16. So I mean, how old are you?
25.
Okay, yeah. So I want to ask, like, in 2023, what would you kind of do if you're like just starting off trading, and you're just a beginner trying to learn and get into the forex space? Where would you kind of go, and what would you do?
Sure, that's a good question. I believe, of course, you can find some good informations online for free on YouTube. You can find some legit people actually teaching strategies. But the level up for me is when you invest into yourself and actually have a mentor that teaches you exactly how he's trading, how he's approaching the market on a psychological point of view. So being side by side with someone, not necessarily on a one-to-one approach, but also in a community of people trading together and with a mentor teaching his stuff, is definitely the way to boost your trading confidence and your trading journey.
Okay. And then kind of going off of that, would you kind of recommend to maybe stick to one pair, couple trades a certain session, or kind of how do you look at that? Because when I was starting to trade, I was trading every session. I was trading any pair I could. Whatever pair had a little bit more volume than the other, I would just want to trade, you know what I'm saying? So what are some recommendations that you can, tell the audience?
Exactly. For me, it was the same. When I started trading, I was just all over the place, just on all pairs. I think I had 20 pairs on my watch list. And all sessions, anytime. Just whenever I'm on chart, I was on charts all day, I would trade. So right now, my best advice is to focus on few pairs. I'm not saying just to focus on one pair necessarily. That's one option that you can have, and it's a great option. I personally trade few pairs, 3 or 4, and just during certain sessions, the beginning of London session and the beginning of New York session. What I recommend for others is to not necessarily copy what I'm doing, but to find what is working for them and just be very selective. So find your session, maybe it's Asian session, I don't know. Find your session and find your pairs. But the more you're selective, even with your pairs and with your timing, the more you can increase your accuracy. Why? Because some people, like some trade setups can be good setups, but during the wrong time of the day, they can become bad setups. So it's a matter of understanding when your good setups actually take place, and then not looking for those setups during other sessions because maybe they don't hold, they don't work.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's really good advice, because I try and preach that is like, if you haven't mastered one pair or one session, how are you going to try and master all these type of things? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I really try and say, like, guys, if you think about this, imagine if you just focused on one pair during one session that moves then, and you did that for 3 months, like, do you think you wouldn't become a master of that pair? Like, it's just really simple things that people just don't want to do. It's like that necessary, it's really necessary, honestly, like to really gain that edge. You know what I'm saying? Every pair has its own little edge of why, and then we figure out our concepts of why we execute what we do, looking for liquidity, the fake change of character, whatever it may be. But it's really important to find that edge, and I think it does come with focusing on the pair, focusing on the session, and then, like you said, realizing when those kind of trades are playing out. You know what I'm saying? What kind of pairs do you trade? And like, how would you explain to the audience like how you trade?
So as I said in the beginning, I was trading all of it. Then when I actually reduced the amount of pairs that I was trading, I reduced it from 20 to 10, then from 10 to 5, and now to actually just 4. I trade EURUSD, GBPUSD, GBPUSD, Euro GBP, NZD CAD, and only sometimes gold. So it's 4, but sometimes I have some gold trades depending on the time of the year and actually depending on the higher time frames. For the people that follow me, they know that I don't look that much at higher time frames, especially the daily and the weekly. I don't really check the daily and the weekly, but for gold is my only exception because I've just been trading it on a whole different way and I have my different confluences for gold. I don't know. I believe gold is a different type of stuff.
It's hard, you know what I'm saying? You got to master gold, You could have your stop loss in the right place and it's going to take it out, you know what I'm saying? But no, but that's great. So I actually wanted to bring up the other night when we were at dinner, you gave me some really good insight about gold and silver. Would you mind sharing that with the audience if you're okay with that, and why you think those are really good future investments?
Yeah.
I think that'd be really good information for them.
That's a great question. So I want to start from the fact that in the trading space, I'm not the person that made the most money with trading. And I'm not the person that hit the biggest win in one trade. I see people hitting a 100K win with their trade, 100K day. That's crazy. I mean, good for them. But I'm not that person. But I believe that I'm the person that invested his money in the most wise way, in order to create wealth for the future. So I did a lot of research on possible investments that would actually allow me to build this type of wealth, whatever you want to call it, this type of investments. And I'm a big believer into investing in real estate, gold and silver. Talking about gold and silver on your question to answer it. So silver is used in the industry. Silver is used to build some parts of electric cars, and is also used to build parts of solar panels. Now, where is the world going? The world is going towards green energy, and they're pushing a big agenda on green energy, and we can notice it. So what can we do? We can invest accordingly. If silver is a finite resource, and there is demand increasing year by year because we're going towards green energy, and a lot of things are built with silver, the price is probably going to go up. Actually, it's math. The price is going to go up because there's going to be more demand and the supply is the same. So there's going to be more demand, the price is going to go up. It's used in the industry more and more and more. I believe that the price of silver will skyrocket during the next years, 5 to 10 years. Gold instead is a different type of argument. I really like investing in gold as well. When I talk about gold and silver investments, it's only about physical investments, because when you buy the contracts, that's where gold comes in. So the gold thing that we were talking about the other day, when you buy gold, you have the option to buy the contracts or the physical gold, or you also have some other options. But when you buy the contracts, you just basically buy a piece of paper that says that you own a certain amount of gold. So if you buy a kilo of gold, it says that Luca owns 1 kilo of gold. And with that paper, you can go to the official entity that regulates gold, and you can ask them, I want my gold, and they need to give it to you, the physical gold. That's how it works. So what happens? That physical entity, which is that entity which is the COMEX, is selling 11 more times the contracts compared to the existing gold in the world. So if a certain amount of people, a small percentage of people that have contracts go and ask to have their physical gold, there's not going to be enough supply. It just doesn't exist in the world. And what is going to happen? We are going to have it's going to decorrelate, how you say?
Correlate,
we're going to have a correlation between the price of contracts of gold and the price of actual gold, of physical gold, the real one. So maybe we're going to see on charts, on TradingView, we're going to see a certain price, but when you want to actually go and buy physical gold or sell your physical gold, if you have it, there's going to be a different price, way higher, because the actual value is going to be different than what you see on charts. Because on charts, on TradingView, the reality is that price is the price of the contracts, is the price of the COMEX. So there's going to be the correlation between these two things if it happens, if people actually go and ask for it. And why do I think it's a good investment for the next 5 years? Because I believe that, especially right now, unless things actually change, we are in a period of crisis where the world is going towards a certain way. We've just been through
inflation,
inflation, but we've just been through some crazy times during 2020, and a lot of things happened. So seeing how the world is evolving, a lot of people are going towards safe investments. And when you go, and the main safe investment that we know is gold. And when you go into gold and you get your contracts, a lot of people will go and ask for their physical gold because they will see the correlation between the two things. And if you have the physical one, the price is going to skyrocket, because not on charts, but you're just going to go and sell it for a way higher price.
I think that's great advice. When you were telling that the other day, I was like, I really hope you're open to tell, people out there, like, it's not financial advice, guys, but go out there and do your own research. And, like, he just basically broke it down for you. Like, if you are interested in that, because I was really interested in it, I want to go home and buy a whole freaking bar of it, you know what I'm saying? But it's just simple things like that people just overlook. Safe investments, where are people putting their money? Like, it's just really simple when you break it down like that.
Yeah.
It is a little complex, but like it makes total sense. And it's the same way how, like, let's just relate it to the markets a little bit. It's the same way for a lot of you guys who don't know. Like, let's say it's news. Like, news is coming up. FOMC is Friday and it's a Thursday. Why is there no volume? Why is there low volume? The big money makers, the guys with big money, aren't wanting to put their money into the market or like invest in certain currencies because there's gonna be big data releases and big news the next day that could potentially ruin that currency, increase it, whatever it is. So they're waiting for that to come out so that they can go put their money into the safer currencies to then increase it. Like, it's all just really simple supply and demand, and you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's great advice. I really hope a lot of people out there kind of listen to that. Yeah. I was really happy when you brought it up at dinner.
And shout out to Mark. I learned a lot of these things from Mark.
Yeah. Shout out Mark. So Mark is also his co-host on the Life is Bullish podcast. Once again, if you've not gone and watched the episode of us, go and watch it over there. So let's talk about some of your other pages and stuff. So you have the Life is Bullish podcast. You have your Edward Trades official, but then also, guys, if you don't know, Edward is behind also the Forex_XL page, which is really funny because when I was like a beginner trader, that was one of like the first pages I ever followed, you know what I'm saying? So I want to go over that and how that got started and why you kind of created that page in the first place.
Yeah, when I started actually making my first money with trading, I was like, I should actually share what I'm doing, you know? And I was looking on Instagram, there were not a lot of pages at that time, and I actually thought that I could share way better information than what I was seeing. So I started my page. I didn't have any expectation, but at the same time, I had big dreams of also creating something big. So that's why I also put the name XL. There are two reasons. One, because it needed to be easy to remember. And the second reason, because I just wanted to give it a good message, which was something that was going to be big. And it actually turned out to be one of the biggest pages.
Yeah, seriously. It has like 300,000 followers on it right now. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
I'm not really known for that because there's not my face. It's just charts. Sometimes on my stories, I'm over there. You can see me. But yeah, and I hope that I can continue also thanks to my team to always educate people in the Forex world. I will always try to share good information on my pages. So that's also why I'm differentiating between more pages. Maybe one is more personal, it's more my personal stuff, and others are just about trading and people can learn about trading stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think it's really good advice to kind of differentiate and get into different things. I kind of want to maybe ask you, like, what's your advice to people out there that want to start a business or start a page? Or I feel like you're kind of you're invested in so many different things, which is a positive thing, and you're invested in a bunch of different pages. And like a lot of people out there who maybe do have a page bar and blowing up, like they want to take after you because you have a bunch of pages all getting thousands of views. Like, what kind of advice can you give people out there that are trying to start a business or a page, or you know what I'm saying? Like, what advice you have?
For the people that want to actually start their business, and I believe it's something great because you can trade, but you can also have your business. You can do many different things. Trading doesn't take all of your day. So that's the beauty of trading actually. It's easy to start a business. Just go and get things done and get started. Then you will need to refine them, which is the process of getting better and of building a business. But in order to start, it's just a decision. One day you decide, and on the same day you can start, especially online. I'm not saying about, a warehouse and whatever. I'm saying online business. You can just, you want to open an Instagram page, open the Instagram page and post your first post today, and then get started with it. And with time, you can refine what you're doing. You can understand which things are more helpful for the people. You can understand which things work best, because why do they work best? Because people want to see them, and people want to see them because they are helpful. So it's just a process. But the process is easy because you just need to get started, and then you just try to always get better with it. So
yeah. No, that's great advice. I think people just hesitate on getting things started.
Right.
Like that's great advice. If people just, like you said, I really like the quote that like you see all over social media lately about one day or day one. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of hits at home because it's like people procrastinate so hard, and stuff that I even myself kind of fall down in sometimes is just like I'll have an idea, then think I'll do it next week. I'll do it.
Right.
It's like, are you gonna do it one day, or is this day one? Are you gonna get it done? Yeah. So that's great advice. You in this industry, you have a bunch of businesses, and you're killing it. Like, I love getting to meet with you and listen to all your other investments. You want to kind of talk about also like maybe your real estate portfolio or anything?
For sure. I would love to talk about that. So I currently own 6 real estate properties. I'm on the process of buying the 7th one. I'm just waiting for the papers to get done. And I believe that real estate is, depending on the zone, a good investment. Of course, no financial advice, guys, but this is my belief and this is why I'm investing in it. Now, why? If I can do a brief explanation of how I view the economy and how I view my investments, is that there are two economies, the financial economy and the real economy. The real economy is anything that you can touch, that you can have. So that's why also physical gold and silver, and that's why you have real estate. The financial economy is everything that can be switched off when there's no electricity. So stocks, bonds, even if you want cryptos in a certain way, but cryptos are on a different level, on a different level, on a different sector. So I really, depending on the time in which you are living, there can be better investments, and I believe that this time is the time of real investments. So this is one of the reasons why I like real estate, and I'm investing a lot into real estate. I currently own 5 houses that I rent out on Airbnb, 1 office, which is this office, and then there's going to be another office that is going to be ready soon. And just to take it back, of course, you might see me now maybe at 25, I have these properties and everything, but it took time to build this type of portfolio. And one message that I have for you, this was personally my story, and I'm really happy that I made these decisions, is that starting from the fact that you can do whatever you want with your money, but what I did was, I was 20, so I started making good money, okay money at 19 with trading. And when I was 20, at the end of that year, when I was 20, I had, and it was huge for me, I had 100,000 to my name. I opened the bank account and I saw the 5 zeros. I was like, amazing. For 1 more year, I was still taking the bus. I was still taking the bus. It's not like something crazy or that people should do, but that's what I did. Why? Because I had big goals of building wealth, of not having to worry about going back to getting my degree. I actually got the degree, but going back to get another degree, going to work, that's what I didn't want to do. So I really put all of my effort to get out of that situation and not having to go back into the 9-to-5 mentality or whatever you want to call it. And even if I had 100,000 to my name, I still took the bus for that year in order to get way more money. And by the time I was 22, I owned 5 properties.
Oh, wow.
So at that time, when I was 23 after 1 month. I was turning 23 in April. In May, so after 1 month I was 23, I had five properties. And at that point I was like, okay, I'm free. If I want to stop trading and if I want to stop having businesses, I have rental coming in and I can chill forever.
Yeah, that's such good advice. I really hope a lot of people out there really listen, because a lot of people, especially with trading, there's so many funny memes out there. People who go get a prop firm account, run it up, and then they want to go buy a car. Or they want to go do something. So it's crazy, guys. Think about him at 20 years old, having that insight, that mindset of you know what? If I don't go spend this $100,000 at 20 or whatever, I'm going to set myself up in a way better position, which is really important, guys. At the end of the day, why'd you start trading in the first place? Because you wanted the freedom. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people started trading because they want the freedom and the money and be able to live life on their own. So I love that you kind of talked about that, because it's really good advice. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm not anti lifestyle, because of course you can enjoy life, you can do all type of things, travel, buy the Rolex, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same, I believe there's a time for everything. And a lot of people that are watching, I believe that they're young. So my advice would be to first try to build something that you can be comfortable with, and then you can enjoy the money that you're making and everything. Exactly. Because of course that's also the goal. If I'm not making money to also enjoy it, then it doesn't really make sense. But build that safety net first.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to set yourself up, you know what I'm saying, to be able to live life. So that's great advice. I want to ask you, kind of getting back to your story, how did you end up here on the Canary Islands in Spain? Because I'm aware you're from Italy. You also spent some time in America, which is amazing. We can talk about that. But how did that all kind of go about?
So that's a great question, actually. When I was 15, I went to the United States, in Los Angeles, in Downey, California.
Awesome. Shout out Downey.
Shout out to Downey. It was an amazing place. I literally loved it. And also I made great friends over there. All the people were super nice to me. Other than that, what happened? I fell in love with Downey. I fell in love with California. Literally, I loved that place, and it was my life goal to be able to live there or somewhere similar. So, why? Because of the weather, because of the people, because of the good vibes, and a lot of other things. So when I went back to Italy and I was on my trading journey at the same time, I was in college studying economics and everything, I reached a point where I was making good money, and I understood that it wasn't sustainable to stay in Italy, because in Italy sometimes it's crazy with taxes, it's really hard to have businesses. At the same time, I didn't like the environment which I was in, and I looked for a place that was similar to Los Angeles, but that wasn't so far away, because I also wanted to be closer to my family. So I found Canary Islands. I thought about London, I thought about Bali, I thought about Dubai, but Canary Islands here in Gran Canaria was actually the place that just caught my heart, and I just wanted to move out here because it's really similar with the palm trees, good vibes, good weather all year. It's literally super hot also during December. You can go to the beach, you can go swim and everything. Crazy. You surf. So I fell in love with the place. I moved out here, and it's also good for business because, and it's also one of the reasons why I invest in real estate. If you reinvest your profits into real estate, you get tax advantages.
Oh, wow.
So
that's great advice. I think you actually had a reel about that. I watched that reel on Instagram about like the advantages of going to places like that. So that's great advice. No, that's cool that you started in Italy. You ended up in the US, but then you found this amazing place. And I've loved like getting to come out here and walk around. The town is so amazing. The people, like you said, are always smiling and having a good time. The beaches are always filled. Like guys, like last night, I was walking around at like midnight, completely dark, but there's just filled, like, and it was what even day was it? Wednesday? Right. Like it's just cool. So I'm glad I got the chance to come out here, and it's really cool that you found out about it. How did you find out about the Canary Islands?
I actually found out about Tenerife first, which is another island of Canary Islands. There are in total 7 islands, and is the most popular for Italians, I believe. I was just seeing a lot of people going during summer to Tenerife for holiday, and I was like, that's a good place actually. So I started doing some research. I found out about the tax advantages. I found out about the weather that was all year the same, and then I just looked up other islands. I looked up all 7 of them, and I just came here and liked this one. I don't know.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I would love it too if I got here. I kind of want to talk about that because I think making that big jump is really hard. You got out of your comfort zone. You're here alone. You left your family in like Italy and stuff. I want to give some advice to people out there, because there's a lot of people out there that are stuck in their comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of advice do you have for people who are just not willing to just take that leap of faith to go and do something different to better themselves?
A lot of people stay in the same place because they are afraid, I believe. Afraid of losing friends, afraid of being away from their family. And of course, I do miss my family a lot. And I try to go as often as possible to Italy. But at the same time, in order to level up in life, you need to actually put yourself in positions where you need to do it. So moving to a different place, changing friends if you need to. Some people don't need to, some people do. Putting yourself in better environments, going to a new country, going to Dubai, I don't know, like a lot of different things that you can do. But at the same time, I believe that a lot of people don't level up and stay in the comfort zone because they are not only afraid of these choices of losing friends, but also afraid of the judgment of others. So when you actually detach yourself from the judgment of others, you just free yourself and you can level up. You can move away. If your friends are actually your friends, they will still be your friends, even if you see them less. I have still very good friends in Italy that I see a couple times per year that maybe come out here, or maybe I go back. And I believe that at the same time, you're going to miss them for sure, but you're also going to see who's a real friend. Yeah. Because a lot of people will turn out for what they actually are. So maybe I missed a little bit on your question. I just went.
No, that's perfect. Like you said, you talked about having to leave some friends. You see who your true friends are, and that you do miss your family and stuff. But you had to get out of your comfort zone to level up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it is a big thing. I've had to recently do the same thing where it's like I'm not as close with some people. I've had to move away, and I just was talking to you about how I live in San Francisco. I kind of grew up in the Bay Area, which is close to home, but I'm ready to take that leap and go somewhere that I know is gonna better myself. And am I afraid? Yeah, I'm a little afraid, but if I'm not uncomfortable, then then I'm not doing it right. You know what I'm saying? I think it's
100%.
really important to have your back against the wall and really,
Yeah.
do new things. It is really important. So one of the things, guys, that I actually forgot to mention at the beginning of the podcast in his introduction is that Edward is actually the CEO of the Goat Funded Trader, the prop firm. So I want to talk about that a little bit because you guys have some amazing deals. You have low profit targets, and you're the only firm I know right now that just opened up. What's it called?
First pay.
First pay. Yeah. So guys, you get payout on demand on the first, first month. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the shout out to Goat Funded Trader. It's been a crazy journey. I've been working on it for the last 8 months, actually 9 months. And it's been a lot of work because other than the investments and the office and the other business that I have and actually trading and being on charts, there was this thing going on and it took a lot of time to actually build it. But I'm super happy with how things are going. I see a lot of traders that are trading with us being happy with our conditions. We actually do have some very competitive features. We have very low profit target. We have also up to 95% profit split. But most importantly, we have first payout on demand, which means that if you are actually passing your challenge and you go on the funded account, if you make profits, you can request it within 24 hours.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, that's a great deal. What kind of made you want to start a prop firm?
I've been a trader for 9 years and I was trading with prop firms. I still am. And at a certain point, I just saw the opportunity and I was like, it must be, first of all, super interesting, extremely interesting to actually see all the data of traders, what they do, what are the best traders doing. I believe I'm a good trader, but what are the best traders in the world doing? What are the worst traders also doing? Just collect a bunch of data and actually use it for me and use it to even share the messages with people on how to succeed with trading, because I have my messages that I've experienced during these years, that I've found out during my journey, but I can share way more by seeing 1,000 other traders. I'm just one. There are 1,000 other traders. So this, and of course the opportunity to build another great business. I'm in love with running businesses. I love trading as well, but I'm in love with building something that you see its growth, and the more you make the correct choices, the more you make it grow. So I just love business, and that's another reason why I started it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kind of, what was it like kind of starting it? Was it really stressful? Was it like, a lot of work and all that type of stuff? I feel like starting a prop firm can just be like a lot, but has it been beneficial?
It's been beneficial. We are having more than 500 new traders every single month. Actually more than that right now. I'm losing track, but it's been very beneficial. At the same time, it's really hard. I will tell you this. It's really hard to find traders to A-book. It's really hard actually, because depending on the market conditions, you never know if they just got lucky, like in the first 2 weeks. Maybe they just passed the challenge. You cannot A-book someone just because they passed the challenge.
True.
There are a lot of people that pass it and then they fail within 1 week. But you just need to build that track record in order to find good traders to A-book, and it takes a process to do that. At the same time, is it being stressful? I would say it's been the most stressful business that I've built ever, because it puts spotlight on you. So for all my life, I was behind the scenes. I was just a kid trading in his room. At the same time, when I built my big page, Forex Excel, with a lot of followers, it still didn't have my face. I was still behind the scenes. And only in the last year and a half, I started building my personal brand, my personal page, my YouTube videos and everything. So I already put myself out there, which is cool. I don't have anything to hide. But at the same time, I'm a very private person, and for the first time being out there, you're like, okay, all these people watch me, all these people commenting about me. You need to get used to it. You need to not care about it, as long as you have genuine intentions, and as long as you just bring good education, you're fine. So after I was building my personal brand, starting the prop firm was even bigger. It just took it 100 times bigger, more stressful, more spotlight and everything. But I believe that, as we were talking about earlier, not being in your comfort zone, I believe that it was just a stepping stone that I needed to go through in order to level up in other aspects.
Yeah.
I just needed to maybe face some things that I didn't want to face. I needed to handle my social presence better. I just needed to level up. It just forced me to level up in other aspects. At a certain point when I was 23, I was like, oh, I'm done. Yeah. I'm set. But then I really like when things come and challenge me. I don't like it during, but
after you're just telling someone how like I love being uncomfortable, because when you get out of it and you have that comfort, it feels so much better. You know what I'm saying? You get to look back at the success like, dang, I put myself through that to kind of, now I get to kind of like enjoy the fruits of my labor. So you explained that really well. I appreciate you doing that. So I think one thing we need to go over, because I bet it's like a big part of your journey and just growing up and everything that I've kind of read about you, is that I haven't even got to talk to you the last couple of days we hung out, is about your professional basketball journey. I know you wanted to become a professional basketball. Like I don't even know like where you played or kind of how that went about. So I want to know.
So unfortunately, I never made it to the pros, but I was playing semi-professional basketball. My goal was to make it to the pros, and I was on a process of working on myself and on my basketball skills every single day. But I started playing in a city in Italy called Treviso, and there was the Benetton Treviso, which was a professional basketball team. I was playing for the younger teams of that team, basically. And when I was playing for that team, we actually ended up second in whole Italy. We just went to the national finals and we lost in the final. So we were the second best team in Italy. Now after that, I went to the United States, in Los Angeles, playing for a high school, and my goal was to just improve, because American basketball is viewed as the level up of basketball. It's different type of level. So I went to the United States to do that. They actually recruited me as well. I was playing over there, trying to be as good as possible in order to get a scholarship. I didn't get a full scholarship. I only got a partial scholarships, which I couldn't afford at that time. So went back to Italy and started playing semi-professional basketball. Started playing semi-professional with the goal of always improving myself in order to go pro. But that didn't work out, and for me, since I based my whole life into actually making it with basketball until that point, it was a big failure. But it was that exact big failure that pushed me to do good with trading and pushed me to do good with business. Why? Because when I was playing basketball and when I was actually practicing, I was putting in the work. I was putting more work in than any other guy in the gym. We had practice in the afternoon, but I will go in the morning early to the gym to put up shots. So I will put up 200 shots every morning, and then we will have practice after school. So I will put up shots before school. Then we will have practice after school, and then I will lift weights after the practice in order to be stronger, be faster, whatever. And other people were just doing the practice. So I was doing 3 times the work. And I believe that this discipline and this will to make it, I just transferred it into trading and into business, and everything got easier. No, that's really was the question I was going to follow up with, was like how did that discipline be able to transfer into your businesses and your everything? Because to be a professional athlete or even a semi-pro, you have to be very good and very disciplined. And like you said, to get up every morning and put up 200 shots and like be disciplined enough to go and do that, work out, keep your body in like the best physical shape, is a lot. So I appreciate you kind of talking about that. And that was the question I had, was like how it kind of transferred into businesses and to finish it, sorry to interrupt you, to finish it, I was actually not making it with basketball was a big failure for me, and I was really mad about seeing other people make it that maybe were closer to me. Of course I was happy for them, but I wasn't happy for me. So I believe for anyone watching that maybe is going through something similar, whether it is with sports, school, or anything else, I had a lot of anger at that time, and energy cannot be destroyed, can only be transformed. And at that time, I just decided to take that energy, that anger, and just focus on business, focus on trading. And I was like, you know what? I didn't make it with this, but you're going to see what I will actually make happen. So I just really focused on trading and business in order to prove to others, which is a bad message. You don't need to prove to others, but at that time that was my goal: prove to others what I was about. and I just transferred everything that I was doing for basketball into trading and business, and things turned out well.
No, that's amazing. I wouldn't even say that's bad advice, because I think it is kind of like having that drive to not, like, you don't need to prove people wrong, but it just gives you that spark inside you that like to just go harder. You know what I'm saying? I had that same type of thing when it comes to like, you know, like we kind of talked about on our podcast yesterday, was how, you know, I had a job lined up after college. I ended up, you know, taking a leap of faith, taking a risk to become a full-time trader. And it was like watching my friends have the 9-to-5s, making, you know, like better money at the start than me and all that type of stuff. Like it made me want to grind harder to show them like, you know, I can work for myself and do really well. So I think that's, you know, good advice. And I like how you kind of said that, like, it made you sad and it made you depressed, but you were able to take that energy and transmit it to something else. So that's really important. So, I mean, great advice. I really like that. So going forward, I want to get a little bit back to trading. I wanted to ask maybe you have like a crazy trading story, maybe a crazy trade, or anything you can kind of share with us?
As I said, I don't really have anything super crazy to talk about. I actually have a great trading story, and it was the only trade that it wasn't on Forex actually.
Okay.
So during 2020, I believe it was 2020, when stocks dropped because of the pandemic, and we had like a 40% retracement on stocks. I wasn't trading stocks. I wasn't investing in stocks. I just bought it. I was like, you know what? Like, prices are going this much down. I know how to kind of do some analysis, on some fundamental analysis. I will take some trades, both spot and also leverage trades on certain stocks that I believe in. I still remember I took Johnson & Johnson. I took Moderna. I was just looking at it, but I didn't take it. AT&T. I took some others. I took like 6 or 7 stocks positions, and I took these trades right at the bottom of the retracement of the dip that was created because of the pandemic.
Nice.
And on the way up, I just made a good return I waited 2 months and I made around 25% on the capital I invested on.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was a great story actually, because I believe that you should trust your instinct, and your instinct should be backed by actual facts at the same time. Not always, but that was the thought process for me. I was like, okay, I believe we will go up. Do I have any evidence that is going to tell me that we can go up? Well, we went down a lot. We can still go down, but are we going to go more? I don't know. Let's look at these stocks. These stocks have always had good revenue. These stocks have always been good stocks that people believe in and that people invest in. And I don't believe that the economy is going to fail because of this. And we have already retraced a lot. I don't remember if it was 30% or something crazy. So I invested into it. And of course, on the way up, you make more compared than on the way down. So yeah, that was my crazy story. For Forex, I don't really have anything crazy. I never tried to flip accounts. I never tried. Well, I tried. I never flipped big amounts of money. Yeah. Maybe I flipped, I don't know, 500 into 1.5K. I don't know. Yeah. But I don't have crazy stories under that point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of don't either. Like, we talked about one that I kind of talked about, but I had to like get stumped because, you know, I feel like for both of us, we have really good risk management. We're really disciplined. We have a good strategy and all that type of stuff. So it's like we don't really have those stories because we're not undisciplined, over leveraging and just risking our whole accounts trying to flip it. But I was just curious on it.
Another one, it was the Solana trade.
Oh yeah, talk about
that. That one was actually, it's funny that my craziest stories are not on Forex. On Forex, I'm just like very disciplined, and just on other investments, maybe I go a little bit more crazy. But on Solana, I invested into Solana in December 2020, if I remember well, when it was at 1.2, maybe $1, little bit more than $1. And at that point, I just took 10 different cryptos and I put a certain amount of money into each. And one of those was Solana at $1. Now, because I was in that process of building wealth, of building something stable, Solana went from $1 to $8 in a couple months. And I was like, I made 8 times the money in 2 months. I need to withdraw. I did withdraw. Smart in a certain way. On the other side, I see a lot of guys going crazy with cryptos and making 100x returns, and that would have been the case for me if I was gonna hold. But yeah, I'm still happy. of course.
Yeah, as a trader, you know,
Yeah.
in Forex, we're kind of like built to like, you know, we know that when we're in good profit, we should take some off the top. It can
Yeah.
easily retrace and take us out break even or hit our stop loss or whatever it is. So, I mean, that's great. Yeah. I like that. Like the Solana story, you know, what is your kind of thoughts on crypto going forward?
My thoughts on crypto. So I'm not an expert on cryptos. I just invest into it. I cannot consider myself an expert, but especially in the last months after connecting with other people, I'm a big believer of the power of your network. So I went to Capital Club. I met a lot of crypto guys that became millionaires. There was even one crypto billionaire at that event. And I believe that your returns and the money that you make in certain markets that maybe you don't know just depend on the connections that you have, on how you can position yourself into certain markets depending on the information that you have access to. And how can you have access to a lot of information? I cannot be the expert of Forex, of prop firms, of crypto, of everything, of real estate, of everything, you know. So I need to have people that I can talk to. And connecting with these people, they really opened my eyes in a lot of crypto stuff. And I definitely realized that I'm underinvested in crypto for the next bull run. So I'm looking to invest more. At the same time, of course, everyone is a big believer of Bitcoin and Ethereum, the solid ones, but I believe that there are some smaller capital cryptos that can also perform well. At the same time, I will try to get back into Solana as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great advice. What I kind of want to go over that because I'm glad you brought it up. But how is Capital Club, and can you kind of explain that to anyone out there who doesn't know what that is?
Yeah. Of course. So Capital Club was an event by Luke Belmar. It's a networking event where you go there are great guests, a lot of good information, and just great people attending the event. All of the people needed to have some sort of background in, you know, building some business or maybe trading in the markets or anything that can be, or anything. And why did we need these things in order to get there, in order to get in? Because by talking with Luke, I understood that his goal is to bring people to this event that can exchange informations. So he's going to bring people that can actually give something to each other, because no one was over there to just talk about how good he is. Everyone was over there to give, and that's what I really liked about the event. Everyone was really genuine. It was really a good energy around, and everyone was there to help others. No one was giving and also expecting. Everyone was just giving. So that was really a good energy, a good environment to be in. There were a lot of people, experts on their sectors. They were 17 years old doing 10K a day with drop shipping. There were people selling their company for 50 million. There was a guy selling his e-commerce store for more than 10 millions and generating revenue yearly for more than 10 millions. There was all type of stuff, you know. I've seen it all. There were, as I said, crypto billionaires as well. One crypto billionaire actually. But the information to which I was able to get access just by being there was really paid back the price of the ticket by 10 times at least. So I really liked the event and I really liked the energy about it. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you answered the question. Like I mean, when I saw the pictures with you, because I already had the flight to come out here to meet you and stuff, and it was just a couple weeks ago I saw you with Luke Belmar. If you guys know who Luke Belmar is. If you go look up his name and you see his face, you guys will know exactly who it is. I'm a big fan of his. I watch all his videos and stuff, so it was really cool to see you go and get to learn from him in person. And once again, that networking connection, because I'm a big believer in networking. 100%. Your network is your net worth, you know what I'm saying? I've had the pleasure to that's why I love the podcast, is I get to come sit down with people like yourself, with other good traders and entrepreneurs and businessmen that I've never would have gotten the chance to, and I've learned so much. Like I said, just from going to dinner with you a couple of times, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
And then from you, we talk about some crazy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like both ways. Like it's just so cool how you get to learn so much from other people. So I also I don't know if you want to bring it up, but at the Capital Club, you ran into, if you guys have seen War Dogs, I love that movie. Efren, the guy Jonah Hill plays. I was just hanging out with them, and then one day someone's like, this is the guy from whatever. I
didn't even know. They were we were at breakfast, and the guy in front of me goes like, this guy, he's the guy from the movie, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Which movie? War Dogs. And I didn't even know the title because I only know the title in the Italian language, which is a different title.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, well, okay. I mean, cool. And then I looked it up and I was like, nice. Like, so we talked a little bit. We went to the beach together and we were like five or six people. And I was in the car with Ephraim, and it was just cool to hear his side of the story because, of course, in the movie, he said a lot of things are true, but at the same time,
some things,
of course, some things are made for it to be a movie, and at the same time, I believe that there are many other things that only he knows that are not in the movie.
I bet, what I'm saying? Hollywood thought they did good, but I bet there's plenty of stuff that he did that they don't even know about. So that's cool. When you told me about that, I was like, that's just cool because I love that movie, and that story is crazy, and I always wondered, like, who were those people behind it? And then you're just sitting at a lunch talking to it, not knowing it's him. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool. And then it was cool like when you brought up the crypto billionaire too, because you said he invested in like under $1. Right?
Under $1, yeah.
Like in Bitcoin and all these other things, right?
And after making a bunch of money, he just went and started living in the forest. Yeah,
like we all wish. You know what I'm saying?
He has his own water supply. That's how billionaires move, I believe. That's actually a goal, to just be independent. I'm not saying to be isolated from anyone, but you can be independent. You can be self-reliant. You have your own water system. He has his own animals, his own farm, and all of this stuff. So he has his own water supply, food supply, and everything.
Like a garden. He's just self-sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The work could go to the end, and he could just be out there chilling. Exactly. That's amazing. That's how these billionaires do it. That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So back to we're gonna get back to the trading and stuff, but I want to get to like maybe a fun question because I like to ask on my podcast a little fun. Wanted to ask like one or two, but if you were on an island and you had to flip an account from $1,000 to like let's say $25,000 or something, you have an insane scalper. You can't touch the account. You cannot touch the account. What traders would you want on the island? You could pick like one or two.
One or two, okay.
One or two traders. I want to know like who you kind of watch and who you think are some top dogs out there.
All right. To answer your question, I will actually give you two names. For a US trader, I will say Tori trades with her trend lines.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
And well, anyway, and then the other trader to actually flip a 1,000 account to a 25,000 trading account. It will be Raja Banks, but only if it's on his broker.
Because then the profits are guaranteed, right? Yeah, it's just jokes out there. Just jokes.
Yeah, shout out to Raja.
That's a good one. Yeah, shout out to Raja. That's actually hilarious. That recent podcast with him and Wisdom was awesome.
It was awesome, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Great answer. No, and then I want to ask you another funny question. If you had to get in the ring and box another boxer, who do you think you got?
I got anyone.
Really? Confident? Now that I know you're tall, you're professional, you're in shape. Like I feel like you and Q Banks would be a really good one.
If you give me if we set a date and you give me 2 months to prepare, I got anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone can comment under this in the Forex space. You can comment under this who you want me to take. I'll fly out anywhere.
Let's go. Ollie Trades wants to actually like kind of do something like that and start like a Forex boxing match. That'd be really fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. Well, I think this has been a great conversation. I kind of want to, start wrapping up soon, but I want to ask you, like, what is the future of Edward and Excel and Life is Bullish podcast, Go Fund and Trader? Like, what is the next couple years, 5 years, like, what does that kind of look for you?
That's a great question. So, as I've mentioned, during the past, I was more behind the scenes. Now, in the last year and a half, I started building my brand. I started building a team, an amazing team that helps me with a lot of operations. And my goals right now are to really educate people as much as possible in the Forex space. I'm really pushing hard on education with my pages, just differentiating between many pages with the help of a lot of people because I have a lot of things to take care of. But at the same time, building my personal brand. I will start my YouTube in a couple of weeks and start sharing on YouTube and building Go Fund the Trader. I want Go Fund the Trader to be a top 3 prop firm in the next couple of years. Yeah. So in the future, I really see these big projects. One is personal, one is with business with Go Fund the Trader. Trading wise, I just want to keep doing what I've done. I don't know if I'll keep going for funded accounts. I don't really want to create a conflict of interest with other prop firms, but maybe I will see if I'm allowed to trade with any. But yeah, keep pushing, just leveling up every single time. Keep trying to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And one big goal, and that's also the reason why I started my own podcast, is to network with people. I recently understood the importance of it, and just by meeting you, we exchanged a lot of interesting informations, and I'm really thankful for that. But I want to keep doing that, keep traveling, and just keep helping people at the same time.
Yeah, and that's what you've been doing. You've done so much in such a short amount of time, and you've been trading for years, but even within how long the Go Fund a Trader, or even how long the Life is Bullish podcast, or even your personal page, you've been able to make a mark in the industry. And it's just the beginning. I can't wait to now that we're friends and I've obviously been following you stuff, it's going to be really cool to kind of get to watch you. But I want to ask you another question, just for like people out there that are just maybe thinking about giving up on trading, or just depressed, or in that hole. All of us have kind of gone through it, where we've blown accounts, we maybe don't have a lot of money to our name. Like, what kind of advice do you have for like a trader out there that's just thinking about giving up?
My advice for all the people that are thinking about giving up: first of all, I will never make fun of anyone not making it with trading, because I've been there. It took me years to actually become a good trader, and I believe that it's part of the process to actually struggle and think about giving up. One advice that I have for you is how you position yourself in order to succeed. In order to position yourself correctly, you need to first of all invest in yourself and get the informations in order to later succeed. But after, what is required to block out all the bullshit that you see on social medias? There are a ton of sources that are not reliable sources, and just focus on yourself. Just put in the work, be in front of charts for as much time as possible in order to get the skills. Once you get the skills, you can get the results easily. You can, especially now with platforms, you can scale up easily. So focus on yourself. Really take a year or 6 months where it's just you reading books, looking at charts, and not doing any bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with trading or that benefits your life. Yeah.
People just get lost in it, what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, that's great. I want to ask one more question, just because it kind of came to my mind. What kind of differences do you see living in Europe than like when you were in the US and stuff? And how is that kind of, I'm just curious on with your mindset.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, I love the US, and that's why I tried to find a place that was similar to Los Angeles. But at the same time, a big difference is that it's way more safe here. I can really go out at night. There are no guns. Exactly. Not like there's a problem with guns, but it's just safer in general. Other than that, differences. Of course, cities are smaller. In the US, we needed to take the car every single time we needed to go somewhere. It's really big distances, at least where I was living. Here, you can walk, you can take a bike, it's super close. Everything is super close. Other than that, I don't know. Did you actually find any difference coming here?
I mean, there's big differences, like culture-wise, people-wise, and obviously like prices, and like you said, just like being safe. Like last night, I'm walking around at 2 a.m. and it's friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like no one there I feel is gonna fight me. Me and him were like talking about kind of like the US and the fights, because like you see it all over Instagram. Me and him were like DMing last night, like a video of like people just fighting in like a drive-through. Like that's really how it feels out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So it just be random, but I just think that the value of life over here, people just value like living, just being alive. They don't worry about their bills and their like worrying about their status or anything. They really just want to live and have a good time.
That's a great point. It didn't come to my mind, but actually worrying about status. When I was over there, and maybe I actually noticed this a little bit in Italy. People really worry about their status, how they appear, what people think about them, what pictures they post on social media so they can make a good appearance for their friends or people that follow them. But this is not going to help you in any way in life. You're just going to actually end up depressed because you always look for validation from other people. While here, I don't know if it's this place or Europe in general, but I would say that a lot of people are chill and they just want to live life, as you said. So that's really a good point for me to be here.
The value of life. That's what it's all about. Awesome. Well, I want to ask, are you a watch guy? I've seen you with a couple cool watches the last couple of days.
I have 8 watches.
8 watches? Wow. So this one's Cartier.
And then I have 6 Rolexes.
6 Rolexes? I'm like looking at my one. I'm like, that's hilarious. That's awesome, bro. I mean, you have a bunch of properties, Rolexes and Cartiers. Obviously, watches are good investments. And then, you gave some really good tips on gold and silver and all that type of stuff.
And it's still real economy. You can touch it.
Yeah. Don't touch it. No, but that's awesome, bro. Well, I think it's been a great conversation. I kind of think we should wrap it up. Everyone, once again, I'm going to leave all of Edward's links in the description. Follow his Instagram. Follow Life is Bullish podcast. Go check in. I think you're going to be like live streaming a lot coming up, right?
I think I'll start live streaming a bit.
So.
Yeah, not every day, but a bit.
So go to his YouTube. Follow his personal YouTube, Life is Bullish podcast, and just stay up to him, guys. Once again, the Goat Funded Trader. There's so many things that he has going on, and I'm excited to get a front seat to watch it. So great conversation,
Thank you, man.
bro.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me in the Canary Islands.
Amazing.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. That's gonna wrap up the No Limit podcast, guys. Make sure to like, comment something you learned, and thank Edward for coming. But that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
The truth.